I'm scared. I'm getting a little bit scared, guys. I'm not gonna lie. We have breaking news yet again. Just 24 hours after Donnie Nelson was let go, news comes out that Rick Carlisle has stepped down as head coach of the Dallas Mavericks. So not only are the Mavericks in search of a new general manager, they will also be in search of a new head coach. Pretty terrifying stuff. But listen, you guys know that I've been called a pessimist on this channel many a times, right? I maybe am a little bit pessimistic. I'm a little anxious, right? I'm a little scared, obviously, but I'm also partially excited. And I'm not running around, like the house is burning down like a lot of Mavericks fans are on Twitter, because I don't really think that. Again, part of me is excited. I would say even most of me is excited about this. If you've been following this channel at all, you know that I have been basically begging for Donnie to be fired, basically since the inception of this channel, right? I've been ready to move on from him. I know he won us a championship. That's great. That was 10 years ago. I was ready to move on. I've been thinking that we needed a fresh start in the front office, but also at the same time, if you follow this channel or even watch a video yesterday, you know that I wasn't like really begging for Rick to get fired. There was obviously a pretty big portion of the Mavs fandom that was ready to move on from Rick. I wasn't really ready to fire Rick. I think Rick is a good head coach. I think he's overhated by Mavericks fans, but I wasn't going to like cry or anything like that if he were fired or let go. And I also wasn't going to be upset if he was the head coach of this team at the start of next season. Like either way, I was like, yeah, that's fine. But I did say the only way I'd be okay with Rick being let go, of course, he wasn't let go. He stepped down himself. But the only way I'd be okay if Rick is let go is if there's a complete and total overhaul of the front office. And by all accounts, I think that's what we're seeing. Obviously, Donnie's gone. I'm pretty sure Paul Voulgaris is gone. So we're going to get a completely new front office. And usually that means a new head coach as well. That's just usually how these things go. You want a complete and total fresh start, a complete and total clean slate. And the Mavericks, for better or for worse, we're going to find out. They're going to get that. It really depends on who we bring in. It's make or break, guys. This is huge. This is huge. And I'm telling you, you should be a little bit scared, right? Because this is scary. But you should also be excited because this could be a monumental step for this franchise. If they do everything right this offseason, and I understand, there's really not a lot of reasons to put a lot of faith in this team to do things right in the offseason. That's a fucking oxymoron. But I think that you could, if they do get things right, and they find the right guy for general manager, and they find the right guy for head coach, like, we could be talking about, things will be good. Let me just say that, okay? So here is the Woj tweet about 2 hours ago now that Rick Carlisle has been let go. Rick Carlisle has told Mark Cuban that he is stepping down. That's important. That is important. He was not let go. He stepped down on his own. Here's the press release from the Mavs themselves. Rick informed me today about his decision to step down as head coach, said Mark Cuban. On top of being a tremendous basketball coach, he was also a friend and a confidant. Rick helped bring the Larry O'Brien trophy to Dallas. Great times. God damn, that feels like that was 20 years ago. And those are memories I will always cherish. I want to thank Rick for all he gave to this franchise and the city. We wish him all the best, right? Pretty generic statement. Rick himself also released a statement that was pretty generic, just basically thanking, Mark Cuban, people in the front office, old coaches, players, but not Luka. There were some old players in his statement, but not Luka. That's important to note because this is true. Like Tim tweeted that there's been simmering tension between Luka and Rick Carlisle, and that was a concern within the organization. If you've been watching the Mavs at all, right, you've seen this. You've seen, the outbursts from Luka who, would yell at Rick after timeouts or whatever the case may be. And, I never put too much stock into that because Luka's uber competitive. We know how emotional he can get. Luka's uber competitive. Rick is uber competitive. It's sports. Tensions are always high. You're going to yell at people from time to time. You're going to yell at one another from time to time. That is what it is. Like, I don't really give a shit about that. But during the Clippers series, it felt like those two, or at least Luka, was yelling at Rick like every other play. Like every other play, Luka was yelling about something or like very, very visually showing his disgust with things that Rick was doing. So this is not surprising to me. What this report does show, if this is true, is that the Mavs are literally doing everything they can to keep Luka happy, which is important, which is very, very important. This news right here shouldn't be a surprise to anybody at all. Again, if you're expecting, news within the next couple of hours, maybe within the next couple of days as to who the new head coach of the Dallas Mavericks is going to be, I don't think you're going to get it. Mark Cuban did tell New York Times Sports, I'm assuming that's who that is, yeah, that he expects to hire a new head of basketball operations before hiring a new head coach, right? That's just obvious. That's what you should do, right? You shouldn't hire a head coach before you hire a GM. That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. So, this is obvious. It might be days, weeks, possibly even months before we figure this out. I wouldn't say months. It'll be weeks because, you want I think what free agency starts into June, start of August, something, or into July, start of August, something like that this year. You want to have a plan put in place, before that starts. So you want to get your new general manager in here. You want to get your new head coach in here. That way you have a plan that you're ready to put in action whenever offseason comes around. Now, who do I think should be the head coach? I think it's obvious. I think the choice is right in front of your eyes, and I think it's Jamal Mosley. He's been with the organization for a while now. By all accounts, the team absolutely loves him. And I think more importantly, maybe, he is widely respected across the league. The reality of the situation is X's and O's is not as important today as it was in the past in the NBA. Today, it's all about player empowerment. That is the most important thing in basketball right now. You want to find a head coach, a general manager who can help, make sure players are comfortable within the organization, that can help build relationships with other players across the league. That way, whenever free agency comes around, you already have these relationships built that you can tap into. And third, and most importantly, you want to build a culture that makes players comfortable to play for and that players want to play for. Do I think that under Rick Carlisle, under Donnie Nelson, under Mark Cuban, the Mavs built that culture? No, not at all. As evident by the fact that they signed 0 free agents of note my entire fucking life. My entire life. They haven't signed any. So no, I do not think they built a culture that people are ready to go and ready to come to Dallas and play for. Right? My main hope is that above all else, right? Obviously, you want a GM who knows what he's doing, makes good draft picks, all of that. Obviously, you want a head coach that knows what he's doing, makes adjustments, all that. That is still important. Don't get me wrong. But above all else, I want to build a culture in Dallas that people want to play for. That way, we're not scraping the bottom of the barrel in free agency. That way, we're not 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th on guys' list when it comes to free agency. That way, we're first. That way, people are demanding trades to us. That way, people are leaving their situations and saying, I can't wait to be done with my contract here, and I'm going to play in Dallas. We have not seen that. So that's what I'm hoping. And again, Jamal Mosley is well liked across the league. So I could see that Jamal Mosley possibly being that guy. And again, he's been here for a long time, right? That provides continuity because it gives you like a new voice to be the head of the organization. But it's also somebody who's been here for a while, knows the players, knows what the players are do, what they're capable of, what they want to do. So that would just be nice. But Mark Cuban waiting until they find a new GM doesn't surprise me at all. But this tweet right here lets me know that Lou GM mode, we joked yesterday on yesterday's breaking news video that Lou GM is real, that Lou GM mode has been activated. This is alarming, right? But this is alarming, but really shouldn't surprise anybody that Mark Cuban, this is what Tim said. I think this was on the Low. I think this guy's live tweeting the Low podcast, the Low show that's happening now. Mark Cuban makes all the basketball decisions. That shouldn't come as any surprise to anybody. That needs to change, right? And if that doesn't change, you're fucked either way. But that needs to change if the Mavericks are going to take this big leap forward like I've been saying. And this tweet right here is the one. Luka yelled at Carlisle in the middle of the game once, "Who's in charge? You or Bob?" Obviously, this being Bob Voulgaris, who is he gone, actually? I don't know. There were conflicting reports yesterday, and then nothing has been said more. I know his contract's up, so maybe they're just letting him walk, but I'm not entirely sure. But Luka yelling at Rick in the middle of a game, "Who's in charge? You or Bob?" is crazy. That is crazy. Luka does not give a shit. He doesn't care at all. And obviously, there were some rumors that Bob Voulgaris was like responsible for in-game adjustments and stuff because of his analytics. And if that's true, that is wild. That is wild. And if there's any truth to those reports, which I do think there are from that Tim Cato story from The Athletic, it's just hard to imagine this team really doing anything as long as Mark Cuban is at leading the pack, leading the charge. But I'm just going to be optimistic. I'm going to be optimistic. And let me tell you why I'm going to be optimistic and why I'm not, running around like the house is on fire, that Rick Carlisle stepped down and that Luka's going to demand a trade and that Luka's a locker room cancer, this and that. All of the shit that I'm seeing on Twitter is what I think happened in regards to this Rick situation, right? Donnie being let go, it had to happen. It simply had to happen. Things have run their course, right? It's scary. I know it's scary as a Mavs fan because if you're my age, Donnie Nelson's been with the team pretty much as long as we've been alive. If you're my age, also, you think about Avery Johnson and you think about Rick Carlisle. Those are the head coaches you think about when you think about the Dallas Mavericks. Rick Carlisle's been here for 13 years, right? That's half of my life. Rick Carlisle has been here. So moving on from that is scary, especially considering this isn't a Dallas Cowboys Jason Garrett situation where Jason Garrett was here for 12 years, but he was dog shit and he had to get let go, and that was an easy decision, right? Rick Carlisle is a good head coach. He won a championship here. It's not like he was a terrible head coach. He was a good head coach who won who brought this city a championship. It's only major sport championship over the past 20 years. He brought it. And so it is scary moving on from that because you have to replace that. And that's not easy. So I get being a little bit scared, but I'm excited because, like I was mentioning earlier, it's been time for a complete and total cultural reset within the Dallas Mavericks organization, and I hope that is what we were getting. Now, why I'm not concerned about like Rick stepping down and why that might mean the organization is crumbling, what I think probably happened is Mark and Rick were having meetings. There was reports that they were having, meetings like all week. They're having meetings. Mark let Rick know that Donnie Nelson was getting let go, and I'm sure that Mark assured Rick that his job was safe. Mark came out and said that Rick's job was safe. And that regardless of who they bring in as a new GM, Rick's job would be safe, at least going into next year. But I wouldn't be surprised if Mark was basically like, yo, like I can promise you next year, I can't promise you much beyond that. If the new GM wants to move on from you after next season, if we have a bad performance or whatever, then I'm not going to stop him. And with Donnie being gone, I'm sure Rick felt his seat getting a lot warmer. So with all of the crazy head coach openings across the NBA, you have Boston, you have Portland, you've got Jesus. Who's the other one? Who's the other big one? Portland, Boston. I can't think of the other one. New Orleans. You have all of these teams with a lot of talent on their roster. Rick probably saw this as an opportunity to be like, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and bounce now, right? I can feel my seat getting warm. I'm going to take control of the situation. There's a lot of great openings out there. I'm going to be the most sought after head coaching free agent, which is, Rick is going to be the most sought after coaching free agent. I'm going to go and test the waters. I'm going to see what I can get, and I'm going to be in control of my own destination or my own destiny because I don't want to stay around here. A new GM comes in, fires me halfway through next season. All of a sudden, I'm sitting on the curb. I have nowhere to go. So that's what I imagine happening. I don't think our organization is crumbling. I think this is a cultural reset, something that needed to happen, something that was going to happen at some point, and it's now the time. And what's funny is Mavs fans on Twitter have been wanting this now for months, and it's happened. And now everybody is running around like the fucking building's on fire, jumping out of the building. It's going to be okay, guys. And I'm the most pessimistic motherfucker there is. You guys know this. I'm like the most pessimistic fan there is. And I'm telling you that. This is going to be okay. I'm excited. I think that this is hopefully a step in the right direction. And you know what? If it's not, then it's not. Luke is going to leave. And it will just prove to us that as long as Mark Cuban's here, we're fucked. And that's just... If that's the way that it is, that's the way that it is, unfortunately. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments, man. Are you scared? Are you excited? Are you nervous? I know there's a lot of you who come by the streams and stuff who are ready to move on from Rick Carlisle. I wasn't really ready to fire him or move on from him or anything like that, but I did say, if he is let go or he does leave, I'm not going to cry about it, really. We'll see, man. I'm anxious. I'm nervous. I'm excited, though, more than anything else. So let me know what you guys think. Like the video, subscribe. All that good stuff. Okay, goodbye.